Hey, thank you so much
Hey,
for joining me, Dayanara. I really appreciate your time.
of course.
Um, I know we're coming to the end of our partnership, working on
Mhm.
your nutrition plan, and I
I
just want
know.
to say again,
So sad.
I know, but there's always the future. I wanted to take a couple minutes and just talk about your experiences working with me. And I have a few questions to ask you just to keep the conversation flowing. But before we dive into that, I would love it if you would tell my audience just a little bit about yourself. How old are you? Where are you from? How did you find me?
Okay, so I'm 25. We started working together when I was 24 still. I'm from Brooklyn. I started working with Tiana because my best friend Bernice was a client of hers she was referred from a gym that she used to go to, and she was seeing great results. So when I asked her who her girl was, she told me Tiana. She told me how she was working with her and how it was working for her. So I wanted in.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We
Mhm.
have had quite a journey because we were working on one goal in the beginning, and then we sort of made a pivot, and then we made a pivot back. And so, just before we start talking about what you and I did together, what were you doing before we got connected?
So before we got connected, this was right when COVID started easing up a little bit. Gyms were starting to reopen. During COVID, I was doing a bunch of home workouts. I thought I was going through a cut, what I thought was a cut.
Mhm.
Um, I lost weight, but I was doing it not in a great way. I lost all my muscle mass. Then when gym started to reopen, I tried to build all that muscle back, eating anything that seemed healthy that would get me to over 2,000 calories, but I wasn't managing my meals correctly. I wasn't looking at my macros. I wasn't checking if I was eating enough protein. I was just eating and I wasn't seeing the results I wanted. And I was starting to get very, very frustrated.
Yeah. What specifically was the most frustrating part for you?
Um, I think that I didn't know. I think the worst part was that I didn't know for sure if what I was doing was right, and
Mhm.
I didn't know how to progress. So if once I started eating a lot, I'm like, okay, here I am eating this amount of calories this week, but how much should I go up from here? Or how should my workouts change? Or should I change up my meals or should I move things around?
Mhm.
I had no idea what I was doing. I just had the mentality that I needed to eat more and that's it.
So what did we do together that was most valuable to you?
Um, I think what was most valuable was that we sat down and once a plan was set up for me, we discussed why things would be this way, why we had to start, so like if we started slower and slowly progressed, why we had to do that. Um, I think it was also the little things for me. Like if I had a question and I texted you out of nowhere, even if you were working or you were with another client, you would still answer me. You would still find a way to help me out with anything I needed. Trust me, guys, I would text Tiana 87 times a day. If I'm not her most annoying client, then she might be lying. But she was always available. Even if she had to get to me a little later, she made sure that she did. And those little things, I think, is what was the most valuable in my experience, at least.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I always wanted to make you feel like you were a VIP. Like that's how I want my clients to feel when they're working with me. So I'm so happy that that's the feedback I'm getting back from you. So we're winding down. I just want to talk a little bit about what we did because I think it's so cool. It was such a cool breath of fresh air, really, to have a beautiful, strong young woman come to me and tell me, I want to gain weight, but I want to do it the right way. So, what was it like once we started bulking and putting on size and you were embracing this newfound physique that we developed. How many pounds did we go up?
We went up 17 pounds.
Yeah.
I started ultimately at 137. So
How
to
tall are
go
you?
up 17 pounds was a lot.
And how tall are you again?
I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
And according to my InBody, 14 pounds of that was lean. So I was like, oh my God, yes.
Yes. So
If I would have done that on my own, that probably would have been, I'll give myself credit, maybe 8 pounds of lean mass, and then everything else would have been straight fat.
yeah, it's so important to make sure that you're going nice and slow. You're eating the right kinds of foods, as you know. I mean, we talked about this for months. Tell me, how are you doing things now?
So I think right now what I'm focusing on is doing what makes me feel good. Coming with a background of someone who has like hormonal imbalances, and being a woman, someone with the body of a woman is a little difficult every day. But I'm just trying to do things that make me feel good, exercises that make me feel good. I had an ankle injury before I started working with Tiana, so I've been working around that, what makes me feel good with that. We had started a little mini cut, but then I just wanted I decided that I wasn't too worried about aesthetics anymore, and I wanted to hold on to the strength that I built from my bulk.
Well, the thing to note too is you did a bulk, but you maintained a physique that you fell in love with.
Yeah.
If not even more so, because I remember you kept saying, I don't want to cut yet. I don't want to cut yet.
Right. So I started to love the weight that I had. My glutes got bigger. You started to see my back muscles, which I never had. And I wanted to hold on to that. I guess I got over the obsession with a certain aesthetic, and I fell in love with my strength and my extra weight. So I was terrified of a cut. I did not want to lose that. So now I'm just doing what makes me feel good.
Awesome. Before we started working together, were you nervous about the investment?
Yeah, I was. I think it's normal for anyone to be a little bit nervous or hesitant with starting something new, starting a new program, working with someone new as well. And because of COVID, this was all virtual.
Yes.
We never met like in person, but it didn't matter. It was worth every penny. My best friend did not lie. Everything that she said, it worked out. Tiana assured me that I was going to get results, and I did.
Awesome.
Means if 17 pounds isn't results from a bulk, then I don't know what is. It's in a short amount of time too. I think we started our bulk in October and ended in April. So it's pretty, I mean, listen, you get what you put in,
Plus, we didn't even talk about your career, which is very stressful because your shifts rotate.
Yes. So another thing that was very, very, very valuable to me was that Tiana was able to help me manage my meals, not just what I was eating, but when to eat it. My schedule changes all the time. I work at a hospital. I'm a healthcare professional, and I sometimes work overnights. I work early mornings. I work late nights. And she would help me time these meals because I'm not the person that wakes up at the same time every day. I'm not the person that works out at the same time every day. Sometimes I'll work out at 8 p.m. and sometimes I'll work out at 6:30 in the morning. So I think trying to figure out when to eat your meals is very important. And that was something I was struggling with. I didn't know if I should eat 2 meals at once to try to catch up on my day or to wait it out. And it was a lot. So for her to be able to tell me, listen, this is when you work, eat at this time, or when you work out at this time, eat this meal. it honestly saved me
And
because
it
I would have been
changed,
lost.
right? It changed like week by week. Like I wouldn't just send you
Yeah,
a plan. We'd have to have a meeting of the minds and say like, okay, so Monday you're gonna do this, Tuesday you're gonna do that, like literally day by day.
right. And so for me to still be able to see results with this crazy schedule like that is crazy to me. So I'm very grateful for her being able to work with me on my schedule, because if you have a crazy schedule like me, then you understand.
Totally. So my last question for you is, are you glad you made the investment?
Yes, 100%.
Awesome.
Like I said, I really would. I am 100% sure I would never seen the results that I've seen. Um, I'm heavier than ever in the best way. I've lifted more than I ever have. Some of my numbers have doubled. I've PR'd every lift that I've ever attempted. And it's great. And now I'm just holding on to that and just going from there.
This is amazing. You are quite a success story for yourself and for Fit by Tiana, the brand, and me as the woman. I am so incredibly proud of you. I am so grateful
Thank you.
that we took this journey together. And again, thank you for so much for doing this for, you know, my clients and for my future clients if they're not sure, because this is it right here. This is the social proof. So with that being said, I am going to stop recording. Okay.
Okay.